Okay, so good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Accountability and Hopeful Fridays. Hope everyone's doing well. Hope everyone's staying warm. I'm your host, Danny Catelli. I have a little bit of cough, so that's why my voice is a little heavy or rough. So please pardon me for that. I'll put myself on mute if I'm coughing. Um, and just for a quick administrative standpoint, just make sure you all are tracking the correct Teams link. I've codified it in a 1 hour reminder email that I send out, as well as on the 15-minute reminder email. There was a previous older Teams link that we used in 2024 that's no longer valid. If you do join that mistakenly, just look at the chat session and you will see that I've added a note saying, hey, you have joined the wrong meeting. This is the correct link. This is a fast and furious session. It's a 30-minute session, so please have your pens and paper ready to take notes if you want to, and be prepared to ask questions. We'll have our guest speaker join shortly, and we'll keep moving along. So I see quite a few new folks like Olga, Edwin. I worked with Edwin. Thanks for joining, Edwin, and a few other folks. So just to recap with everyone, the goal for this meeting is to uplift and support those pursuing new career paths, fostering accountability, and instilling hope for a brighter future. So, why did we start this meeting? As many of you already know this, I'm sorry I'm repeating myself, but at least for the new folks, a few months ago, I ran into a gentleman, and he'd been looking for a job for 2 years, and he was really down in the slumps. He was ready to give up, and I wanted to just pump him up and take him under my wing and help him out. But then when I went home, I was like, how many other people are feeling the same way? So I took it upon myself to start up Accountability and Hopeful Fridays. And it's not just for people who are like depressed or who are struggling or whatever. It's for anyone who wants to boost their career, who's looking for a new career change, who wants to make some minor adjustments to make them relevant to their job search. Um, so the goal is to provide that mental and emotional stability, share some intel, like William was talking. He really liked that picture of the fishing rod. I'm an avid fisherman, so if one fisherman is using a particular kind of a bait while they are fishing, they want to share that intelligence or intel, like I call it, to other fishermen, or fisherwomen who can also catch fish. So that's the so-called sharing of intelligence. What's working out there, what's not working, so we all can be successful. And then we're going to talk a little bit about accountability. The way we provide accountability, you will see, and I'm just planting the seed right now for you new folks, is you will go into the chat session and you will look at the previous Friday's chat session where you put in your SMART goal that you signed up to complete by this Friday. And that is a SMART goal, which is a specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, timely goal. And if you did not chat it in there and you wrote it down on a piece of paper for privacy's sake, just take a look at that. And then we provide that hope. We have our guest speaker. I see Evans join the call. Thank you, Evan. And then He will provide some tidbits, and as well as the audience will provide some sort of like, hey, what's working out there? And that's how we provide hope. And last but not least, your attitude will determine your altitude. It's all in your brain. Um, I'll give you a quick example. For time's sake, I was texting someone today, and I was saying, um, it's I'm not getting jobs. It's really hard. But instead of saying I'm not getting jobs, it was like um, I rephrased it, and I can't remember exactly how. But the word not, it has a negative connotation, and what you speak and what you type and what you think has has effects, believe it or not. So you have to change how you think, how you type, how you text, and it all starts with your thoughts. And you have to correct it. It takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of discipline, and it's the progress looks like that. It's not like that, right? So you may fall down sometimes, and then you have to pick yourself up and keep improving. Um, so that being said, just some quick stats on our Accountability and Hopeful Fridays. This is our 11th session. Believe it or not, we have had 9 guest speakers to include Evan, um, 11 past members. That means these are members who were part of EHF and now they have found jobs and moved on. Some of them occasionally even attend just for the heck of it, which is good because they're keeping their skills sharpened just in case. And as of today, we have not hit 200 yet, but we are really close. I think we were at 192 members on LinkedIn and counting. So we have hit like almost 200 people in 11 sessions. That's humongous. I do very little marketing. It's mainly been you guys, word of mouth. Hey, Danny, I know someone who's interested. I know someone who's in the same boat. He or she may want to join the group. So keep passing the word around and share that information. So without further ado, this is Evan Lambeth. I call him a big dog. He's moved up in the world and he's forgotten about us low people. I'm just kidding, Evan. Evan has done quite well with our crew partners. He recently got promoted very quickly to a much higher level position. He's often posting jobs on LinkedIn. He's very, very active on LinkedIn. He's very active in the community. I'm in Charlotte. He's in Charlotte. So quite often you will see him out there. And our Crew Partners is a huge company, right? It's a nationwide, maybe even a global company. Maybe Evan can tell us a little bit about that. But without further ado, I've known Evan for for quite some time. We've been friends, and I thought, why not invite Evan to this call? So Evan, if you don't mind doing a short introduction of yourself, and then if you can go into sharing one piece of insider knowledge that many job seekers might not be aware of, but would find incredibly helpful in their job search.
Yeah, thank you, Danny. Can everybody hear me okay?
Yes.
Excellent. So my name is Evan Lambeth. Thank you all for having me here. I'm with the Crew Partners. I serve as the Executive Vice President for Talent and Delivery. So essentially what that means is I'm responsible for all the recruiting activities and delivery across all 5 of our commercial divisions, including IT, HR, corporate support, marketing, and accounting and finance. Prior to moving into my new role as the EVP of Delivery and Talent, I spent the last 3.5 years as the Vice President of our IT division. And we specialize in contingent labor, so staffing, direct hire placement services, executive hire placement services, and project consulting. Um, just a bit about our crew. We've been in business for 23 years, servicing those 5 commercial divisions that I mentioned. And we are a Charlotte-based company with a Carolinas focus. So we work with about 200 unique clients over the course of any given year here in the Carolinas across all different industries, from financial services to distribution, transportation, logistics, healthcare, retail, you name it. More often than not, we service a client in that domain here in the Carolinas. But the real reason I'm here today is to share a piece of useful information with you all. I don't know if this topic has been covered before, but I think it's very imperative that you all are kind of taking this into account as you're working through your job search. And that insider tip is your resume needs to speak to both humans and algorithms. So let me break that down. I've got kind of 5 key points within that, but in my professional experience, hiring managers tell me this all the time too, but I think most job seekers focus on making their resume look impressive to hiring managers, but forget in some cases that the first gatekeeper is often software, and that software is an ATS, an applicant tracking system. 9 times out of 10, you're going to be dealing with something like that as you're pursuing a role. So your resume must pass both of those tests. So the first key point I want to cover there is keyword optimization, right? When you're looking at a job description, use that as a guide to identify key skills and requirements, and make sure those terms are naturally included in your resume. A great tool to use to make sure that that's happening for you is Control F, right? If you're a software engineer and JavaScript is a heavy requirement in the job posting, you need to make sure that under each of your last few jobs, you are speaking to your experience with JavaScript, and that word shows up, right? When we're talking about ATS systems, a lot of times the first folks that are making that pass at your resume in terms of reviewing it might not be technical recruiting experts, might not be experts in whatever it is that you do. So the lowest cost or the lowest common denominator solution is a Control F search to see if those keywords are highlighted in the resume as they're doing their first pass. Okay, so keyword optimization is first. Second is simple formatting. Fancy graphics, columns, and images can confuse ATS systems sometimes. So use a very clean and straightforward format with standard headings, bullet point style. I see a lot of candidates that send me these very fancy resumes that are in PDF format. ATS don't like PDF and they don't like graphs, fancy formatting, all that stuff. So I would say have a Word version of your resume, Microsoft Word version of your resume, and keep it simple, okay? The third thing is skill section strategy, right? As you're speaking or you're listing all of the different skills that you have or the different tools that you've worked with, whatever the case is, include both technical and soft skills there that align with the role. That'll help you appear in both ATS searches and appealing to the human reviewers, the hiring managers on the other end of the equation. The fourth thing is tailoring your resume for each role. This is, I think, probably the most important thing here. A general resume doesn't really work, not in 2025. So customize it slightly for each application to align with the specific role's priorities. Okay, a resume is a living, breathing marketing document. You're marketing yourself, your background, your experience, what you can bring to a company, what value you can provide. So I don't mean a full-scale resume overhaul by any stretch of the imagination, but you might need to move bullet points around so something appears higher in your resume because you know that's a priority for this particular job. So just be mindful and treat your resume as a living, breathing marketing document and tailor it for each role so you're getting noticed. Okay. And the last thing, this is of paramount importance as well. Within a Crew Partners, I train my recruiters. Internally, I call it made, saved, and achieved. But what we're essentially talking about is quantifying your achievements. Numbers catch the attention of folks that are reviewing your resume. So I'll give you an example. Instead of saying, I managed a project, say something like, I led 10 projects with budgets up to $2 million, $1 million, whatever it is, delivering 95% on time and 5% under budget, right? That's a very clear example of quantifying something versus just saying, I managed a project. It's always getting to that end result, and numbers, dollar signs, percentages really do a good job of catching the attention of folks because they can clearly understand the value that you created or the business impact that you and your team drove working on a particular project or initiative or whatever the case is. The last, I'll give a quick bonus tip, and then I'm happy to answer any questions or turn it back over to Danny to continue the conversation. But network strategically to bypass the ATS system altogether. While optimizing your resume is absolutely critical, the truth is the best way to bypass the ATS system entirely is through networking strategically. Many jobs are filled through referrals before they're even posted. It's really important to work with, I would encourage you all to have a relationship with at least 3 really good recruiters in the local market or even nationally, depending on where you're located or if you're open to relocate or looking for remote jobs, whatever the case is. And also very importantly, not all recruiting firms work with the same client bases, right? There's plenty large recruiting firms out there. Robert Half is a prime example. I'm sure all of you know of them, but they're really deep into financial services in a lot of cases. So if it's your dream to work for Wells Fargo, Bank of America, Ally, you need a partner that specializes or has a very robust financial services division. Crew Partners, on the other hand, our specialty is mid-market companies. So companies that are 500 or 600 million in revenue up to 10 to 15 billion in annual revenue. So depending on your goals, your background, your experience, your industry domain alignment, it's very important that you align yourself with the appropriate recruiting firm that can support you, because we don't, again, all support the same clients or serve the same industries. Okay, so how do you go about doing that? Use LinkedIn to connect with current employees and hiring managers. Attend industry events or virtual networking sessions. At the industry events or at networking events, there will be recruiters in attendance almost always. They're all looking to sell their services, of course. I attend a lot of them myself. So introduce yourself, say, hey, can I grab 10 or 15 minutes of your time someday? I'd like to get engaged with your brand and your talent network, right? And ask for informational interviews, not just job referrals. It really builds trust. So combining all those tips, optimizing your resume and networking will give you as a job seeker a very comprehensive strategy in your approach, and shows you're offering insider knowledge that others may overlook. So those are my insider's tips. I know I threw a lot at you, but I think all those are very relevant in today's job market.
Evan.
Thanks, Evan. Scott, give me 1 second. So I know you guys have a lot of questions. I see the chat session. So let's go through the rest of the session. We only have 6 minutes left. And then Evan, I know you're a big dog. You're a busy guy, but I hope you can stay a little longer past 3:30 and answer some questions.
Yeah, Danny, I'm happy to do that, man. I can give you as much as 10 or 15 minutes after our allotted time here, and I'm happy to stay on and answer any questions. So turn it over to you, and yeah.
Yep. So let's move along. We'll make it quick. So just to go over your SMART goals, feel free to check out your previous chat sessions or look at your notebook and see if you accomplished that SMART goal that you signed up for last week. And then if you are comfortable sharing what you want to accomplish by next Friday, go ahead and put in your SMART goal into the chat session or into your handy dandy notebook on what you want to accomplish. Make sure that it is truly a SMART goal, something you can truly accomplish that's within your 100% control by next Friday's session. And then, now for the sake of time, does anyone have something good or a success story that they would like to share with the team on something that is working out there? Something that helped you get an interview or help you get a job offer that others can emulate. Maybe one example for the sake of time.